The Creator, starring John David Washington, comes to theaters this weekend. Is it good? Let's find out right now. Welcome back everyone to the channel. Before we get started on the review of The Creator, I do want to say that I think this one will maybe be one of the most divisive films of the year. I've seen people hate this film, seen people really think it's just okay, and I've also seen people love it. We'll get to my thoughts in a second, but The Creator takes us on a journey in a future where war between the human race and the artificial intelligence rages on. Ex-Special Forces agent Joshua is recruited to hunt down and kill the Creator, the elusive architect of advanced AI. So yeah, this film is pretty interesting because the main character is basically Joshua. That's my name, you know? This film is kind of based off me, I guess, in more ways than one. Just kidding, but at the same time, I think it is cool that his name's Josh and my name's Josh. I always find it funny when a main character in a film has your name. I always find that to be a good time. But yeah, I had some pretty big expectations going into this film, because the trailers are just some excellent trailers, some of the best trailers of the year, especially because you got Dream On playing in the background. What an epic song choice for a trailer. And just science fiction, anything science fiction really gets me to watch it. I could end up hating it, could end up loving it, but if it's science fiction, I'll definitely give it a watch because I think science fiction is the best genre of film. Alongside there with horror, I think those are the two best genres, but science fiction I think you can do so much with. And this one is directed by Gareth Edwards. He directed Godzilla, Rogue One, my favorite Star Wars movie. Rogue One has a lot of great, amazing stuff in it. Godzilla, Godzilla I think is an okay film. The story kind of leans it down just a little bit. But I feel like Gareth Edwards does some great stuff with sci-fi, so I was very excited for this one. We're going to get into the good first. I feel like I want to start with the cast. John David Washington, he's just a great cast here. I think he was done so well in this movie. And I'm happy that Gareth Edwards chose him because I thought he did so well in Tenet. Seeing him in here, I thought he was great. A lot of people said on Twitter that he is not a strong lead in this film. But I gotta disagree. I thought he did great with what he had to do with, and I will get to the script in a little bit, but, you know, I feel like he really gave an emotional performance, especially by the end of the movie. You'll probably see when you watch it, no spoilers, but I really thought his performance was pretty emotional at many parts. But I will say, for me, the MVP of the cast is Madeline Una Voiles. Hopefully I'm getting that right. This is her first acting job like in a big movie. I was very surprised with how much that she was able to do here with her kind of, I don't know, I don't think you want to say small role, but she doesn't really have a lot of speaking parts in here. She has good facial expressions here, a lot of great emotion shown in that third act, just like John David Washington. I think that she did an amazing job for this being her first big movie. So props to her. I think that she was just amazing in this. And I think that she might get a lot of calls up this movie. I really enjoyed her acting in this one, especially because you had to warm up to her character at first because she is basically the AI of the movie as you've seen in the trailers. So you got to warm up with that character, and I think she did a great job with you kind of warming up with that character as the audience. Another great part of this movie has got to be the VFX. This is probably up there with some of the best VFX of the year. I couldn't even nitpick one big shot of this movie that didn't look finished or didn't look great. And I think that's because Gareth Edwards said that they went on shot on location for like 90% of this film and just added everything in later. And I feel like that's what you got to do with these big sci-fi movies. You can't be like movies going in for full green screen and thinking you can do all that, because that just doesn't look good in its final product. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, that didn't look good. In this movie, I think everything looks so good because you're filming on location in all these different places and then just adding everything in after. I think that just works so much better than like some stuff that Marvel's been doing right now with the volume. I don't think that works. I feel like what the creator did here works, and it only was made for like an $80 million budget. Can you believe that? $80 million spent on this, and it looks as good as it does when like a Marvel movie is made for like $270 million. I think that's what the Marvel's budget is. Insane how the difference of these budgets and the quality is just so different. You know, I wasn't expecting this movie to look this good, but it looks so amazing. I couldn't nitpick one shot. I feel like this is going to go up against Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for the best VFX Oscar. I feel like that's its big chance, and I feel like it might get it. Its VFX are so strong. You've seen it in the trailers, but in the full movie, VFX are just handled so well, and I just love how Gareth Edwards really handled the budget on this movie. Another good thing in this movie was how the AI was handled. I feel like a lot of people were worried about the AI, how it was handled right here, because it's very timely. They're talking a lot about AI in the SAG after strikes, the writing strikes. And I really get that because SAG is fighting for like extras and the actors to not get their faces scanned and be used just whenever they want. And this film actually does take a look at face scanning and all that in this film and how it's used. It's not really a spoiler, but I feel like that's very timely. I don't know how they got that down, but that's very cool. And I liked how they actually gave some humanity to the AI in some aspects, because you get to a lot of characters who are basically all straight AI, but they can talk to you in basically a very comforting way. So I like that a lot. I like how they handled the AI sense of not all AI are enemy, but a lot of people think that they just don't really understand them a lot. But it's such like stuff, like such a high technological kind of stuff to kind of understand at some points. I think it might get too much, but I really do like how the AI was handled here. I think it's handled better than Mission Impossible in a way, because there's just more going on, more AI, and I feel like if you watch this, you might have a different understanding for AI. I think I do now. I'm not really too big of a fan of AI, but I loved how it was handled in this movie. And I will say, just as a science fiction movie, I think that this was done well. As I said, I'm a big lover of science fiction, and I can really see why a lot of people don't like this one. But I really loved it. I mean, not as much as some other people, but I think it's a great film, and I feel like as a sci-fi film, I think it's really good. Has a lot of great emotion, has a lot of great effects. I love that third act and what they're able to do there. And now let's get to the bad parts. I don't really have a lot to say on the bad parts. I will say the script, though, is pretty iffy. I've seen a lot of people say this. The script felt like it was a little unfinished, and maybe it needed a couple more drafts to really polish that up. That's what I'll say about that. As a score, I don't think was utilized enough. Hans Zimmer was behind the score. It didn't feel Hans Zimmer enough. Really got to that third act, and maybe a couple scenes really felt Hans Zimmer to me. But most of all, I didn't really feel Hans Zimmer. I just felt like a normal score that's not really memorable. And that's not really what I want to go away from a science fiction film talking about, not a non-memorable score. The second act was a bit slow. That's what I'll say for the bad. Not too much bad, more good than bad. So overall, The Creator, another sci-fi flick, and it's an original sci-fi flick. I would go out and see this. It's really worth your time, and you can really find a new understanding for AI, and all this action in this film, really well done. If you like something like a Blade Runner 2049, Apocalypse Now, kind of like an Avatar-esque, takes them from that. Tron Legacy kind of takes them from that. I feel like you will find something to enjoy in this movie. So I will say, go out and see this. It's a really cool science fiction movie. John David Washington is amazing. Gareth Edwards did a great directing job. So overall, The Creator, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. I really enjoy this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.